Hi there. Today we're going to talk about what the Trump administration means for talent, people, HR in your organization. What does it mean about legal laws specifically relating to people policies within corporations? I want to qualify by saying this is not a crystal ball discussion. It's just an idea based upon what his policies were looking like during the election. Of course, things could change in any direction in any given moment. So first off, we're going to talk about specifically the H-1B visas. These may reduce, they may decline based on what he said about toughening his immigration policies. We know that we rely a significant amount for a lot of these, especially technology roles that we're talking about, highly skilled labor, roles in the software engineer space, things of that nature. We rely heavily on H-1B visas. A lot of corporations do, especially those specifically in California, but all over the country. So this is something for your organization to keep in mind, that this may be a challenge. If you are relying on those H-1B visas to fill those roles, this might be a challenge in 2025 and beyond. Something to consider, to be proactive, and to build contingencies around. The second way that Trump administration might have an impact is less regulation on specifically those labor laws around employee rights. So, for example, overtime rules or minimum wage. We definitely should not hold our breath on minimum wages increasing in 2025 or maybe even the next 4 years. That may not happen. Overall, we will see less regulation, more pro-business, more business autonomy to make those decisions that they believe is appropriate for their business. However way you look at that, whether you like it or not, that's more than likely what we're going to see in 2025 and the next 4 years to come. Third point is DE&I. DE&I obviously has already been taking a specific decline shift in policy and regulations. We should continue to expect that to happen. Shunning of the discussion of diversity, equity, and inclusion. That type of language will be highly scrutinized, if not perhaps even legally attacked in some respects. And in accord with that, you'll see discrimination suits, things of that nature, less taken seriously on that federal level as before. So this will be more of a climate that is not going to be specifically around employee rights as much as it's going to be really about the business having that autonomy again, which goes with what I initially said. As far as DE&I and all these decisions for your business, what they look like for the business impact that you are reaping to deliver, the culture that you're reaping to deliver, the outcomes, it's very much going to be a business autonomous decision and driver. So it's really going to be up to businesses in a lot of ways to maintain the health that you want to see. The fourth item is around OSHA, and this is specifically around safety regulations. What types of protective equipment is provided to employees, or what protective equipment, if they have it, are they using? What types of safety climates are organizations providing, guaranteeing, ensuring that their employees have? We're going to see far fewer inspections by OSHA, far less investment in those types of safety regulations. Again, it's going to be all about that deregulation, and this is not going to be any different in the safety space. So you want to do what is best for your organization, but keeping this in mind, federal government is probably not going to be nearly as involved and hands-on on these types of matters in 2025 and beyond, or the next 4 years at least. And then number 5, worker classifications. I believe we'll see a lot more relaxation on those worker classifications. For example, your W-2, your corp-to-corp, 1099. The gig economy is going to increase regardless of who is going to become president. But I do believe there's going to be far more increase with Trump, significant increase rather, with Trump as president. We're going to see far more relaxation on those regulations. As most people know who work in the corporate environment, a lot of times when we have what should be a W-2, most organizations don't get it quite right. And we won't name any names, but even our largest organizations oftentimes use C2C, corp-to-corps, 1099s when they should be using a W-2 because the regulations are very clear and they're very strict based upon the IRS and other guidelines. However, there are other regulations that get a little murkier with pay and things of that nature and benefits when we think about organizations like our Ubers, right? Our Airbnbs, shared not Airbnbs, but our Ubers, our shared economies. And what we're going to see is more relaxation on those matters. So whereas, for example, Uber may have been required to make certain employees FTEs or W-2s or provide certain benefits. These requirements are not going to be nearly as strict under Trump. And so this, I believe, is going to encourage the employer as well as employees, if you will, to participate more so in this open gig economy. So I believe we're going to see far more of that type of work that is independent, if you will. And that's going to continue to grow. That's predicted to grow regardless of who is president, but I do believe it's going to grow faster under Trump. In accord with that, the remote, the hybrid, that's still really hot. We're still talking about that, even though the pandemic was 4 years ago. We're still trying to figure out, what do we want to do? How do we want to look when we grow up, so to speak, as an organization? And what we're going to see, I do believe, is more flexibility around that remote, that hybrid situation and environment. If we recall, a lot of productivity was happening in the remote environment. A lot of corporations were motivated to bring employees on for several reasons, that some were pro-business, but a lot of them also were tax reasons. There was this just amazing abundance of multiple taxes going on when we had, for example, our headquarters, sitting in the state of Washington, but we had employees working in the Philippines or Costa Rica or what have you. So there's this tax quagmire that was being created by corporations. I'm very interested to see what will happen, but I will say, just overall, given the general deregulation theme that I'm seeing, that I do believe that hybrid remote is going to be less intimidating for organizations from a tax perspective. And so I believe that that will increase that hybrid remote work again, as I believe would have been inevitable regardless, as we're moving into this more advanced technology, globalization space with AI, with globalization through social media, through the internet. We were going to see that remote hybrid uptick anyways return. I believe it may return much faster under Trump, given that deregulation, or at least less regulation around the taxes that organizations have been facing with the remote and with the hybrid work. So I will look to see that on the uptick, at least in that second half of 2025, as things get settled in. Another change that I would probably see, and this is in accord with what I just said around the technology, is that AI growth exponentially. Again, AI is a force to be reckoned with regardless. So I believe that regardless of who the president was going to be elected, we're going to see AI explode inevitably. But given the fact that it is Trump, and that we have Elon Musk, the AI czar, if you will, leading this whole AI effort for the world, so to speak, if there was an AI czar leading the effort for the world, and being so close to the cabinet, I believe that is going to massively explode AI, because, again, that word deregulation, I believe with Trump there's going to be far less regulation on AI, and obviously there are beautiful opportunities with AI, but there are also an abundance of risks. And I've been talking about those opportunities as well as those risks in other blogs in the past, if you want to review those. But given the fact of this deregulation theme, if you will, that we're in season, if you will, as well as this pro-AI, AI is going to explode, I believe, at a significantly fast pace, and hopefully the appropriate regulation will keep pace, but I believe it's going to be difficult for regulation to keep pace with the AI. And that is going to obviously license and encourage an explosion of AI opportunities. So definitely AI is not going anywhere, and it's going to actually build even faster, I believe, under a Trump regulation or administration. And then the last one I'll leave you with, which is one I believe would have happened with either, and that is specifically around tips, tips for for our service workers who provide great service to our country. And what we will probably see are those tips going away. Those taxes on the tips going away. And so that could have various implications. Obviously, some people mention, oh, well, restaurants may pay less, or who knows what it means. But what we do know that it means is that it means more flexibility for the worker to keep the tips without that percentage of taxes being embarked upon it. So I hope this has been helpful. If it has, please click the like button, provide any comments of any other ideas that you believe may be coming in the space of talent, HR policies and laws under the Trump administration. And feel free to share with anyone who you believe may benefit from this vlog as well. And have a great day.